I don't know. You better have it ready. Are you ready now?
I'm never ready. Facts. Chapter 1. No, yes. Introduction and chapter 1 confuses me all the time.
Difference.
The first chapter.
Oh, no. Here we go. All right, episode 29. This is our Daring Greatly mini series. This is the second episode of the mini series. It covers chapter 1,
which is titled Scarcity, looking inside our culture of never enough.
Yes, so she gives a great definition of scarcity in the book. A lot of times throughout the book, she'll give her definition based off of her research. So we'll get to that here in a little bit. But I know a lot of times scarcity is the feeling of, like she says, there's not enough. Like I either don't have enough time with you, so I'm hoarding all my moments with you, or I'm not letting you go do other things. Like that could be an example of scarcity.
If you think of most of your excuses, those would be scarcities, right?
Like what?
Not enough money, not enough energy, not enough time.
Energy.
God.
Yes.
Yes, energy. There's not enough coffee in the world.
That's true. Never enough. It makes me think of that Greatest Showman song where she's never enough, but hitting all the high notes makes her voice hurt. Jenny Lind.
Yeah.
Here for one night.
I have to admit, I've never seen that movie. I know.
What?
I know.
You've never seen Greatest Showman?
No.
It's so good.
That's what I hear. That's what I've been told. I can't talk Jacob into
Hugh
watching
Jackman and Zephron?
Yeah, that doesn't encourage Jacob to turn it on.
Jenny Lind, she's pretty.
Yeah.
But that's not her real name. That's her character name. I don't know her real name. But she's in a Chris Hemsworth movie. MIB, International, whatever. I happen to watch all the MIBs.
Men in Black?
Yes, for you lay people. It's Men in Black. Not common knowledge? Okay.
Okay.
Noted. Carry on.
I don't know that I count, but okay. Scarcity.
I don't know how I got there.
Greatest Showman. Got us off track. Okay, so scarcity and our culture of never enough. Yes. So she talks about how she's interviewed, again, Brene Brown is a researcher. She's done lots of interviews over the last 20 years, 2 decades, 20 years for my non-math friends. And she said what she's found is that we have a commonality. Lots of different people, age ranges, backgrounds. And one thing that we have in common is that we're tired of feeling afraid and we all want to be brave.
Yeah, I love it. Everyone wants to be a Gryffindor. Except for the ones who just want to be a Slytherin, or the people who are like, no, I'm too smart for Gryffindor. I'm going to be a Ravenclaw. And then the Hufflepuffs.
So we're all Hufflepuffs wanting to be Gryffindors, is what you're saying.
No, I know some Gryffindors who don't want to be Gryffindors. They want to be Slytherins. You know who I'm talking to. It's fine.
This podcast is not about movies or books, but not fictional books.
Well,
maybe we could.
Yes, please.
Yeah, someday.
I would love to talk all things Harry Potter.
But that's not why we're here tonight.
You're right.
But here, let's talk about something else trendy. She points out in this chapter too about how music has changed recently.
So over the course of the past 20 years, like she said, even the past 10 years from 2009 to 2019, we have become more traumatized. Just things we're experiencing or speaking out about, or it's been generational and the cycle has just broken kind of thing. She talks about how the music over time has transferred from us and we, so using the word us, using the word we, and starting to use the words I and me. So, for example, just listen to any song on the radio and see how many times it says I or me or my versus we or ours or us.
Yeah.
So she said that's been, I mean, it seems like something so subtle, but at the same time, if music is playing and, I mean, I have songs stuck in my head all the time. So I've mentioned on the podcast before, I've had to switch what music I listen to because I love music and it just gets in my soul. So I have to be careful there, which, again, that's not me being high and mighty. That's me showing you a very big weakness of mine. I can't listen to fun songs.
Way to be vulnerable, Brooke.
Jesus is fun.
vulnerable.
Jesus is fun.
There's
I'm
some
sorry.
good Jesus songs.
You're right. There are a lot of great Jesus songs.
There's one out there that makes us clap on the way to school every morning, and so me and my girls call it the clapping song because
How's it go?
I don't know.
When
Clap.
you find it, let us know.
Okay.
If you could see us right now, we're both having a great time on this
You
Seven
can
Light
see us. Go check it out.
podcast on our YouTube.
Yep.
We got one of those YouTube things.
Oh my gosh. YouTube
We're on the
star.
YouTubes.
Move over, Jojo Siwa. Is that her name? She's pretty awesome.
Yes, but my kids don't know that person.
My kids lightly know that because can't leave them on YouTube unattended.
Ah.
And I prefer giving them
It's a good tip
activities
in
that
general.
you can like send them away.
Ah.
while.
Yes.
All right.
Tell us more.
There's not many out there. There's not many. Go clean your room. No,
Great.
you did it wrong. Let me do it.
Do it the right way. So she breaks down this chapter 1 into 3 sections, looking at narcissism through the lens of vulnerability, scarcity, and the source of scarcity.
Yep. So the first one talks about the word narcissism, and again, that word can mean lots of different things to lots of different people. So we want to be sure to put it in context. So in this chapter, she says, when I look at narcissism through the vulnerability lens, I see the shame-based fear of being ordinary. I see the fear of never feeling extraordinary enough to be noticed, to be lovable, to belong, or to cultivate a sense of purpose. Sometimes the simple act of humanizing problems sheds an important light on them, a light that often goes out the minute a stigmatizing label is applied. So that is important. Talking about this label, this word narcissism, it's important to understand the definition she's working with.
I feel like the quote you just read is so packed full of information. People, what did it say? They don't want to feel, they're not wanting to go unnoticed.
Well, before that, a shame-based fear.
Okay,
So
shame-based fear.
shame-based. Because it's a fear of not feeling extraordinary enough, not for celebrity status, but for what I feel like are basic
That boy
desires
won't
that
even
we all
notice
have.
me. That boy doesn't even know I exist.
You just
How many
wanna-
times does a middle schooler say that? High schooler say that?
Yeah.
Wife say that?
Yeah. Just, they want to be loved, they want to belong, and they want to have purpose. And I think
Everyone can relate to that.
non-narcissistic people.
Yeah, everybody wants to be
too.
loved. Everybody wants to belong. If you don't feel that, you're lying.
Yeah.
And then everybody wants to feel, what was the third thing? I have a purpose.
Yeah.
And we're all, guess what? You're all built to be loved. You are loved, just so you know. Hey, hey, Jesus. And then the second thing, you want to belong. You belong in the family of God. There you go. And then you have a purpose. Once you become a Christian, your purpose is to bring others. Recruit.
Yes. Recruiting.
Recruiting. as
College
Paul Burns would say.
soccer. Yeah. Don't lose the recruit.
Where'd they go?
So yeah, I think I do admire that she wants us to remember that, you know, there are some terrible behaviors out there, and not that the behaviors are okay, but just a reminder to look at the purpose behind it. Because if you're addressing the behaviors, it's kind of like if you think getting rid of weeds is like pulling the green leafy part, but leaving
Right.
the root, like
Yeah.
you're not, the weed's just gonna keep
Great
growing back.
analogy. That makes me think of, again, back to the Enneagram. It's the whole motivation behind what you're doing. Like if you are acting in a narcissistic way, whether you're posting a million selfies, okay, are you judging your worth off of how many likes you're getting? Because people do that because they want a sense of worthiness and belonging. So again, you gotta, we talked about this a lot of times, knowing the truths, the biblical truths, versus what the world is telling you. So your worth is found in Christ.
Yep.
Which is hard. Easier said than done. Yeah, but I also want to get at least 7 likes on this picture.
Right.
Like it 7 times.
Just think of what, you know, someone in the 1800s, like we said, how do you know that you're loved and valued? They probably wouldn't have said, I have 17,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'd be interesting. Alrighty, so then it goes into what?
It talks about, okay, so there, she asks some questions for us to kind of think about while reading the book or while doing the book study. So how does culture influence our behaviors
which that one you gotta, be real with yourself to say that it doesn't impact you. You might
just
take a deeper look.
even the music right there, an example.
Clothing. LOL dolls.
Okay.
Harry Potter.
So, never mind. I won't go there. Just be careful.
That was
with,
a dig.
No, just
That
be
was a
careful with what toys you're giving to kids. One of the LOL dolls is wearing crochet thigh highs, no panties, and a crop top. So, there's that. The one I've seen.
Yeah.
Just makes my stomach hurt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay.
Yep.
Moving on. So, how does culture influence our behaviors? I think even on a subconscious level, so consciously and subconsciously. Mm-hmm. The next question she asks, how do we use our behaviors to protect ourselves? So that could mean, protect could mean a couple different ways. It could mean, like, how are you putting a wall up, not showing any emotion, you're stonewalling, you're hiding, you're setting too thick of boundaries, like if the wall is too thick, we have to break through. Or is it precautionary for safety? So,
again, not just looking at the behaviors, but the motivations behind it.
And then, is your behavior fulfilling a need to feel worthy?
Oh, gosh.
So, I think a lot of times we struggle with the where do we belong? What are we supposed to do with our lives? Why am I here? What is my purpose? I think all of that can be answered by the whole Jesus thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, on this side of it, it's a no-brainer. But there have been times where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing in life, or this is a really big valley. I think it's actually a hole. I'm actually in the abyss. I don't know how to get myself out. I need Bruce Willis to come down in his little machine, come get me. And then, if you haven't seen The Abyss, then never mind.
I haven't seen that one either.
It's a good one.
Well, and I think there's also still people that, Christians, but it's the and then what? Or you have two really good options, and it's like, is this what I want? Is this where God's calling me? How do I?
Am I hearing
discern
what
the
I want to
difference?
hear?
Yeah, or am I praying to God for what I want instead of praying with an open mind? So, feeling worthy, and then, dang, Jesus was so awesome, and then it's like the what would Jesus do bracelets, and man, I'm not worthy of God's grace. Oh my gosh, how much?
Because we're not.
And worthy of God's forgiveness.
Because we're not.
And the Bible says you're right.
You're right or not, but good thing I sent a guy.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
There's this guy.
Sent him.
Yeah.
You recently had a birthday party for him. Anyway.
You were there.
You were there, you would know.
Too much eggnog.
Oh my gosh. I don't like eggnog.
I don't drink it either.
I like
just
hot
the
chocolate.
name of it.
I mean, I think that's probably the deterrent.
Yeah, egg. Drink it. I think of Gaston.
Yes.
I've seen that movie.
Had 4, does it? Thank you.
Beauty and the Beast. Yep.
Size of a ball.
We are all over in this one today.
Yeah.
It's some deep, heavy stuff, so I think what we're doing, our
Oh,
behaviors.
yes. Analyze us, Brene Brown.
We're protecting ourselves
Analyze
with
us.
humor.
Oh, I will straight up tell you that's the truth for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So we want to feel worthy by making you laugh at us or with us.
Oh gosh, preferably with us.
Yeah, I mean, we're laughing.
As long as we're laughing and they're laughing, it's with us technically, right?
I like it.
Okay. All right. So, and the other part in the book, in the middle chunk of the chapter, about scarcity. Oh, I was going to tell you all an anecdote. I have recently struggled with scarcity, and I would not have had this vocab word had I not read this book about a couple months ago. So, for some reason, I felt like it was hunting season was just ending. Me and Morgan were 2 trains passing in the night, kind of thing, and I just felt like I wasn't.
Ships passing in the night.
I always use trains. 2
Trains
going.
are loud.
Trains going by in the middle of the night.
Do you guys toot toot?
I do. No, I'm not sure what you meant by that, but I meant
Ships passing in the night. You can be trains.
I always use trains.
Okay, be trains.
2 trains in the middle of the night, just
Yeah, they're loud.
not like quiet, but as in like bye bye.
Oh, okay, so you actually communicate.
So we do to say hello.
Gotcha.
but it's more of like this. It's gone too far.
It's derailed. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Scarcity.
All that to say.
You didn't get to see Morgan very often.
Yes.
It wasn't quality time when you did. It was just
Oh,
tag.
look at you, the love language. Yes,
Tag
it was
in and
tag.
out.
It was
Yeah.
the adult version of tag, where
Yeah.
it's like your turn to get the kids. I'm gonna take a nap / shower / eat at the same time.
Yeah, basic needs.
Try that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, and I told him, I was like, Morgan, I feel like I'm struggling with scarcity with you. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I don't know why. I can't explain it. It doesn't make sense in my head, but that's what I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, good job. So shout out to counselor. Hopefully you hear this, but look at me feeling my feelings and putting vocab words with it. Yeah, and saying it. Ooh, so I'm trying to live the vulnerability. It's hard and challenging every day. So we ended up, we had like a 36-hour trip, like a road trip to an event, and it was so great. So all that to say is
Do you feel like
that helped.
he capitalized on that?
Yes,
more?
we were super intentional because it was a few days leading up to it, and we were like, all right, let's make the most of this thing that we have to go to. It was actually a really awesome time, so it was great.
Yeah.
It was very refreshing. So even just that 36-hour restart, intentional, purposeful, one-on-one. We had someone with the kids so that we could be very intentional with our time. And we actually have we are starting to plan another like quick little, maybe it'll be longer than 36 hours, but something like that. So I don't think we realized the power of that until we actually experienced it. So
yeah,
if you need a tip, there's one.
I like it. You were vulnerable and sharing that you were feeling a scarcity in time
Yeah.
with your husband, and I'm happy to hear, then he was receptive to that, and y'all made the most of it. Great.
Thanks
Great
for
stuff.
summarizing my 3-minute long...
But you know what happens when we get away? They're not
Oh my
all the
gosh.
episodes are like this, but some of the best ones are.
You
so,
tell us.
I mean, it's the truth.
Okay.
Jinx. Double jinx.
So, scarcity. You have a list in front of you in the book. So, this is what scarcity... You might not be able to figure out... I know I wasn't able to put together sentences with using scarcity. We went through an exercise like this when we went to a personal development conference back in the summer. So, it was cool to see this here also.
Yeah.
So, if multiple awesome people are doing this, then...
It must be the right thing to do.
Good enough for me, so...
Everybody else is doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Jump off the cliff.
Yeah, so
Just
it was...
kidding. We don't advise that. We don't advise that.
Edit. No. So it was kind of uncomfortable to read this because, when I hear scarcity, I think of like water is scarce in the desert, or like the Naked and Afraid shows, survival
I
skills.
forget you watched that.
Well, no, see, Jacob watches it, and I'm going to fall asleep anyways, and so I fall asleep to that. Bad dreams. So when I read this, it put it in different, again, perspective, reframed it for me, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So, never blank enough. And your blank, whatever goes in that blank, it might be different, but it might be one of these. She says, never good enough, never perfect enough, never thin enough, never powerful enough, never successful, smart, certain, safe, extraordinary enough. But man, never safe enough.
Yeah.
I can tell you I've worked with some kids that probably felt that
Oh,
way.
for sure.
And as a kid, to never feel like that, I hope the best for the trajectory into adulthood, but,
Just makes me think of the hierarchy of needs. Like, if you don't feel safe enough, you can't get thin enough, smart enough, whatever enough until you feel safe enough. So it's almost like you need to go hierarchical with that.
Yeah, and back to certain kids or behaviors, it's protection.
Oh, for sure. If
Yeah.
I can keep you at a distance and not be vulnerable at all, then I'm safer that way.
Yep.
If I say something, you're going to separate me from my brother. Like, why would I want that?
Or my mom left, I don't want to get close to you because you're going to leave me too.
Yep.
A new teacher next year.
Mhm.
Why do I'm going to lose you. Yep.
Yep.
Whew. Anyway, so scarcity, not in the sense of like Oregon Trail style,
Dun, dun, dun.
but you know, some really real life feelings.
And if you think long enough about it, you do have something that's deep down in there where you're like, oh my gosh, I felt like, guys, you're not experienced enough. It might be that with job stuff, or you're not high enough in the chain of command, or whatever it is.
Yeah. And as a leader too.
You're not qualified enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh. Because, I mean, those are things, and that could be the devil talking to you too. Like, oh, you're not qualified enough. Yeah, I am.
Do they call that imposter syndrome? I
Yes.
think?
Yes, imposter syndrome. So clearly, if you're in that position, or you've been elected to that position, or someone hired you in that position, and you feel like you've followed the footsteps or the roadmap God's given you, then all those whispers are lies. So combat it with the truth.
Oh man, and talk about mom guilt.
Facts.
Not a good enough mom.
Yep.
Yep.
You don't play enough.
Not a clean enough house.
Yep.
Not cooking healthy enough food.
Ooh.
Not reading to your kid enough.
Yes.
I'll stop because we've got plenty of those.
It's going through my head.
But there was another good example. Is that what you were going to say?
Yes. They used a sleep analogy, so I didn't get enough sleep last night.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people wake up when their alarm goes off and they're like,
I'm already tired.
only how many hours until I can go to bed, or how many, when's nap time, or there's sometimes where I'm at work, I'm like, wow, in 12 hours I'll be awake again the next day. I'm like, man, I can't even get 12 hours of sleep.
Yeah. She references a writer a global activist and fundraiser named Lynn Twist, who's written a book called The Soul of Money. And that's where she talks about, again, this is just a self-evaluation. If you're like, I don't believe in scarcity, I don't think with a scarce kind of mindset. She talks about, again, as soon as you wake up, are you thinking you didn't get enough sleep? Do you not have enough time to get to work on time? Do you not have enough time to eat? Yeah, and then are you starting your day off consciously or subconsciously already losing at the day or lacking something? And then do you go to bed at night thinking of all the things you didn't accomplish? And I know that really resonates with me. And so again, we want to make sure that you're working with definitions that we're using in this book and in our discussion. So
Yeah, that's a good point to hit on again.
yeah, definitely have that self-evaluation, that humble talk with yourself to see if maybe you do have more of a scarce mindset than you think you do.
I think if you dig deeper, we all to some degree or another are feeling scarcity with something.
Either personally, professionally.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
She also talks about the comparison trap, which I think, again, to some degree, everybody falls on the scale somehow of it, whether it's, oh, I wish I had enough money to have that car that Susie has, or it could be anything like, man, I wish I could get all the clothes folded like this person does. So anything that is comparing, you should only compare yourself to you. Or did you do your best today? Great, you get a sticker. Was your best today less than yesterday, but it was still your best? Great, you get a sticker. I mean, all we can do is our best.
Yeah.
I recently discovered this truth, like, all I can do is all I can do. And that finally, I was able to put words to what I was feeling, like, I can't do anymore. Like, all I can do is all I can do. And that's it.
Yeah. And sometimes having that mindset gets you off the hook. Like, well, I see so-and-so doing something I wish I could do, but I can't. Like, she just must have more of something, and that's why she can do it. Instead, a lot of times,
motivation.
There's a level playing field. Everyone's working with the same amount, 24 hours in a day.
Yep. And if that's not your gifting, something else is. Yeah, so use that as your strength. She also talks in this section about nostalgia. So whenever I think of nostalgia, I always think of like the fun memories we had, or remember that one time we had a fun time.
Wasn't life easier before we had kids?
So, well, and then we start going down that track, but then it makes me always think of, what's his name, Uncle Tony in Napoleon Dynamite. He's like, yeah, if Coach would have put me in the championship game, we would have won state, and I would have gotten a full ride, and I've been in the NFL, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you wouldn't have. Number one, you don't, get recruited to a D1 school your senior year without ever hearing from anyone ever.
Yeah.
It's, things are way set before the championship game.
Yeah, you would know. You would know. It
Probably
wasn't all
not.
depending on that. Yeah, like
But
there's
that's all I
lots
can
of
talk about.
there's lots of research out there that your memories are only like 50% accurate, or maybe
What?
smaller than that.
So write it down, people. You gotta
Like-
journal every day.
The way you would remember it, your brain fills in to make it more however you, whatever.
So
Research it.
what I was just thinking yesterday, I was telling Sloan a story because they ask, like, it's story time, and sometimes they'll say, we want to hear Cinderella, but then sometimes they want to hear a story about something that happened to them in the past. And they have no memory of it. They only have the memory of whatever I tell them.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what? This could get crazy. Like, if people, then you think of, like, The Giver or any of those fiction novels where it's like people have been told this one truth over the course of an extended amount of time, therefore they believe that that's what's real.
Yeah.
Like The Village, M. Night Shyamalan.
Well,
That's book.
Facebook, when it does the little time hop or memories, the girls now, like Tori is 7.5, and so she's like, I remember that, and I'm like, do you remember it, or you remember that video? And she's like, that video, but you know, later it'll be a memory to her that she doesn't remember when she was 6 months old and blowing bubbles.
Right. Prodigy. Yes, she does.
Don't encourage her.
The last part of chapter 1 talks about the source of scarcity.
Yes, so there's 3 components of scarcity according to Mrs. Brene Brown. Shame, comparison, and disengagement. We've talked a lot about shame. We've talked a lot about comparison. And then the last one she talks about is disengagement. Oh, she talks about how it's easier to stay quiet and just remove yourself from the situation. It's feeling like no one's paying any attention to you.
But you're okay with that. It's kind of like not necessarily the opposite of the narcissistic stuff, but just you want to, if being involved means you have to speak up or give your opinion or share something you don't want to share, then they will opt not to.
Right. It's kind of also those people that don't make a choice, so they're like, haha, I chose not to choose. And you're like, you
that's a
still made a
choice.
choice. So, yeah, disengagement. All right, and that pretty much wraps up chapter 1.
There is a quote that we need to find real quick. I thought we were going to talk about it more.
Whoopsies. So my computer died.
Oh.
And so I'm trying to look past the mic at your notes.
So there's somewhere in there, there's a quote.
Oh,
Maybe I
in
can
the book. I was
find
like,
it real quick.
The computer's dead.
There's a quote in the computer. Feel free to entertain our guests. Oh, what are you gonna do?
On the first day.
Oh,
of
the opposite of
Christmas.
never enough is wholeheartedness. We need to say that.
So, guests, what are y'all doing? Besides watching us. Multitasking, laundry, and watching our YouTube video.
YouTubes.
We talked about opening toys, like that one kid that's like a bajillionaire, because kids tune in to watch him open toys and see what toys he gets and if he likes them. So we were thinking of like opening products, like as seen on TV maybe? I don't know.
Turby Towel, I recommend it.
Turby towel. Is
Yes.
that the one that like they wrap it on their head and they take it off and your hair's dry?
Yes.
I don't believe that.
Okay, so I've started using it,
No.
and it helps significantly get my thick hair way drier. So I wash my hair first when I'm in the shower, and then I put the Turby Towel on while I finish showering or shaving or whatever.
No, is this a new
And
Turby
then-
towel? Because I had one of the OG ones that was just a towel that twisted and had the little thing to like.
That's what mine has. But it's like those
But there's new ads
it's
now.
like microfibery something.
Yeah. Okay. New material.
And so then once I get out of the shower, my hair is it's like my hair has been drying the whole time, which is good. And then I get a regular towel and I put that in. By the time I take that towel down,
Yeah.
my hair's ready to put defrizzing stuff in it.
Does it do your makeup for you too? Because if you've seen those commercials
Where you do
they're
this,
like out of the shower and then it cuts to them taking their towel off and their makeup's magically done, implying that the towel also does your makeup.
no, that hasn't happened yet.
I just let mine air dry, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But any of y'all that know me know that I show up to work in the morning with a slightly damp hairstyle, but it dries into this, which, you know, it's better than the bun. Does it look like I put more effort in when it's down like this? Because I didn't. And I don't have a headache. You found it?
Found it.
Okay. Are we
Ready.
going to back it up? Or are you just going to start from there?
I like that I back it up now, because then
I
I
do
don't have
too.
to do it later.
You back it up very well.
Thank you.
Sort of the opposite of narcissistic stuff, but just you want to
What am I saying?
if
What am I saying?
being involved means you have to speak
Oh, it's
up
like
and give
voiceover.
your opinion or share something you don't want to share, then they will opt not to.
I can
Right,
hear
it's gonna
this.
also those people that don't make a choice, so they're like, haha, I chose not to choose. And you're
Right,
like, "You
that's a
still made
choice."
So, yeah, disengage.
Mm-mm.
We could do it
Ready?
like a dubbed video. And so go.
Confuse our
Audience.
visual people. Ready?
Our fans.
Get it? Get it? It's too much. Let it go. Ready?
You're talking, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll listen.
We wanted to close the chapter by reading this one quote again. She's talking about culture. So whether that's big country or small town or workplace. All right, they all share the same formula of shame, comparison, and disengagement. Scarcity bubbles up from these conditions and perpetuates them until a critical mass of people start making different choices and reshaping the smaller cultures they belong to. So I thought it was interesting how everybody feels shame, comparison, and disengagement to certain degrees. So if those decision makers start over time shifting things around, the whole culture becomes different over the course of time, or her research 20 years. So just from when she started to now, it's so different because of those culture shifts.
I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, especially like you said, the work culture. If in schools, if you get a new principal, or
Yeah.
in a workplace, if you get a new boss, or if you are moved from, working in Houston to going and working same company but a different location, different people.
Yeah.
The culture can change, and I feel like people describe it as environment or staff morale. And so again, we're all using the same words here, but this is how she would describe it, as using the word culture.
Yeah. So that makes me think of the book Lead Like a Pirate. There's Teach Like a Pirate, but then there's Lead Like a
Lead
Pirate,
Like a
and it's
Pirate.
two retired principals, I think, wrote this book, and the thing that stuck with me through that one is get the right people on the ship. So whatever you're in charge of, you want to get the right people on the ship, which implies there are also wrong people on the ship. So over the course of time, like personalities will, they'll figure out if they fit better in this area or this area. So it's a process to get the right people on the ship, and that doesn't happen in 1 year, 2 years. It might take a couple. So if you have just experienced a turnover, whether it's your company got bought out or in those examples you just said, just give it some time and see if it is a good fit for you or if there's something else.
And sadly, sometimes it can be friends that have been friends for years, or even family members that they walk into the room, they show up to the family gathering, and the whole mood shifts because of, again, their feelings of shame or comparison, whether they, bring out those emotions in you or they project those on everybody else in the room. So,
Yeah, back to surrounding yourself with wise counsel. So toxic counsel versus wise counsel. Cool. All right, so that's chapter 1 of Brene Brown's Daring Greatly. Next week we'll go over chapter 2. So there's that.
yeah. I can tell you what chapter 2 is in just 1 second.
Memorize the book.
Ah, sorry. Okay, so again, we just wrapped up Scarcity, looking inside our culture of never enough. And chapter 2, coming up next week, is debunking the vulnerability myths. So again, if the word vulnerability makes you uncomfortable or you have some preconceived notions about that, I think you'll find this chapter very interesting and have a little bit more buy-in to the rest of the book.
For sure. Don't miss out on this miniseries if you have not listened to the next week's episode, because again, I think that's going to mindset shift you.
Yeah.
So there we go.
All right, what's my corny line going to be today?
I don't know, make something up, it'll be great. I love it every time. It's always something about singing people and we don't see them. It's great.
Yes. See you next week.
How
It
original.
was so nice to see you tonight. See you next week.
Yep, say them all.
Bye.
Great. That's my favorite. Bye.
Bye.
I love it every time. Bye.
Bye.
Are you playing the music in your head?
Yep. Actually, I was thinking about Facebook Live when you say end save, or what is it that you have to press?
Oh, finish the ending live video. Ending live video.
Yes, so Facebook Live every Friday, Witty and Gritty. Check us out there if you need some more entertainment.
Yeah, we better stop this thing.
Bye.
Bye.